Hello, Flash Dagger here. This week we are racing in the Gran Turismo World Series Manufacturers Cup. It's the official season, everything's on the line. We've already done one round so far. As you can see, it didn't quite go our way with only around 140 odd points. So we have a chance today to make amends. There's 320 points on offer. However, our confidence is low. We didn't have a good round, and we have a tendency to really pleb these live qualifying sessions. So with that said, let's jump into the live qualifying and see how we can get on. So we've left the pits. We're obviously on our out lap. As you can see, it is a night race, which is not very common for Gran Turismo, so it's nice to have that difference. But a little bit of context here. Despite playing this game for 3 years, I've never actually completed a full season of GT World Series, whether it be GT World Series or FIA. I've done a race here or a race there, but never finished the season, and I would really love just to see where do I stack up, where do I rank amongst my peers. Now, an added layer of context is I, if you haven't noticed, I'm a complete bottle job. I really struggle under the pressure of live qualifying. I do very poorly, and I also have another fatal flaw, which is I very much struggle to perform and put in a fast time without the benefit of a ghost in front of me. I find it struggle to find my own lines, and that's something I've been really working on. So we bring it round here. It's the first lap, it's the first race. We expect to absolutely pleb it as we normally do. So I've taken the pressure right off ourselves. Let's see what we can do. So fifth gear, powering out onto the straight, looking for the indent on the left hand side, drop shift to fourth, and we just carry that speed and push out right round up the hill. We're looking for this left hander. We're going to drop and coast in to keep it nice and tight. Drop the third across, cutting that corner. Could have got that better. Holding it in nice and tight on the left hand side, up the fourth, and snapping into the right hand side, cutting that curb on the right, on the left again, and carrying this one. We take the curb line, drop the third, across the secondary curb, and power out on the right hand side, the fourth. We could have done that much wider. 0.9, a 0.7 is ideal, a 0.8 is acceptable. We're a little bit slower. Dropping the fourth, into third, hitting the apex, powering out wide as we can, dropping into second. This is an important corner on the big straight. We've missed the apex, it's not great, but we've got on the third at least, and we power out and speed on through this straight. Let's see where we are for the next delta. It's going to be a 0.5. It's alright, it's okay for a first lap for a banker. We'll drop it in here and try and carry the speed, making sure not to get a penalty. That's what we're very conscious of, is penalties, being risk averse. Bringing it nice and tight around the right hander there. Very tricky pit lane. Thankfully this is just a sprint race, but let's see what we get for our first lap. Okay, we'll take that as a 0.6. So we've got a 0.6 banker. We're on our last lap. We're up again in purple. So speed on through. We are going to finish up our qualifying with a 0.603. That's going to give us pole position. That has never ever happened before in a 300 point A+ lobby, but we'll take it. And simultaneously to ourselves, Kie was running his first race. He's a split 3 driver at a higher level than us. We're split 5, and it was great to see that our pace was very similar, at least in qualifying. Now, no, qualifying isn't the be all and end all. It's all about the race pace, and that's something we struggled on. So in this race, I don't just really want to go for the win. I want to see where I match up against the higher levels of skill-based matchmaking in this game, at least in my best classification in Group 4. At this stage, we're really just trying to manage the nerves. That GT World Series, I know, doesn't help matters. It really amps things up tenfold. But there we are, in first place. Usually we can sit and wait and go and make a cup of tea before it shows us on the screen, but we're starting in first and we're away, and this is really unknown territory for me. No cars in front, absolutely unreal, but we're just trying to manage those nerves and get some clean laps in and settle ourselves into the race. Now obviously we have some built-in delta, about half a second organically. The number that we're really focusing on here, the P2, Almaragi and Blue Racer, is 0.6. 0.6 or 0.6 is the magic number here. That's the number we're focusing on the top left. That's the number we need to retain as we come off the sharp right-hander on the long straight. The reason for that, every time you're on this track, is because of slipstream. The slipstream strength is much stronger within 0.6, but also means that they're going to be within that 0.2 range to make an overtake. Now as we come onto that straight, you can see we retained that 0.6. We skipped on a little bit further there. We're in the safety zone, we're carrying the race from the lead, and we're absolutely fine. There's 3 of us there running through, completing lap 1. And we are now beginning to relax into the race. That's important for us, to relax into the race and get ourselves settled so we can start doing our laps. We carry on lap 2, same again, putting in solid laps, 25.0, exactly where we want to be at this stage. And in lap 3, we're just in cruise control really. We're totally relaxed. We're just finding our flow, finding our pace, being repetitive, being consistent, and making sure we don't make any mistakes. Oh my goodness. We've almost lost the rear end, and as you can see, that delta has come right down now. Now there is a race. If we just drop back and watch that from Almiragi's point of view, you can just see that rear skip out. Now that might look minor, however, many a driver knows that on that corner, cutting that curb, it can be absolute death for over-rotation and put you into the far right wall. But now there is a race on. Now it isn't cruise control. Now there is something in play. So there's 3 of us have a gap, and that is right down to 1/10, and we retain that 1/10. And as you can see, Almiragi has not gone for the pass. He's actually chosen to bump draft us, which is an incredibly smart decision to make, an excellent racecraft. You can see he isn't in the OP car. There's 2 cars that are really strong here, which is the Nissan Silvia and the McLaren. He's in a Lancer. That Lancer is going to really be challenged on pace and tyres later on in the race, and he's done an amazing job to get himself into this position. But as you can see, he's driving bumper to bumper with us, which is really challenging to do in a safe way, but he's managing to do it, and he's working with us. He's obviously seen the gap, he's obviously seen that we're breaking away from the main pack, and he wants to get the lead. He's seen the pace that I'm driving from the front, and I'm not taking a defensive line because I know that he's wanting to now work with us. So I'm pushing the pace from the front, and Almiragi in P2 sitting in slip and trying to get as big of a gap to the main pack before his tyres give in. So we bring it along here after lap 4, and there's a group of 3, and we're heading into lap 5 at this stage. Almiragi is still in slip. Look at that, less than 1/10 behind. That is really controlled driving. We don't take a defensive line. We wind on a little bit further and jump in with Almiragi to see how he's getting on in our slipstream, and he's just over rotated just a slight bit, lost control off the Lancer. It's allowed Blue Racer to go through. We've hit a purple sector. The teamwork is dead. No more conservative lines, no more conservative exits, no more tyre saving. It's time to push to try and get that delta up above 1.5 seconds to break that slipstream to the guys behind. We've got Blue Racer in P2 now, Almiragi closely following, and P4 the Kie will be chasing down behind them. Look at those great TV shots from Gran Turismo 7. They are absolutely stunning and show the visual off the train of cars coming behind. And we still have that 1 second gap, and we've just hit another purple sector. They are benefiting from the slipstream, but we are now pushing. We're taking bigger chunks of these corners. We're pushing out earlier and we're going wider. We are taking risks with this approach. However, the chasing pack also need to take risks because the pressure is now on them. There we have it, a 1:24.8. That is solid time for our level in this game. As we just skip on to further on lap 6, we've got it to 1.1 now. They're feeling the pressure. And we just have a little look to see as we come out of this corner onto the straight. Blue Racer's pushed too hard, he's gone wide, he's hit the dirt. That's caused a side-by-side with Almiragi. That's opened the gap to 1.5 seconds. We've just about broken slipstream. We're right on the fringes this stage. As we carry on to lap 7, we can see they're still just right there in the slipstream at 1.4 seconds. We're looking behind us, they're side by side. I've pulled over to the left to give the slipstream to Blue Racer. I want to see a side by side. I don't want compliance going into this corner. I don't want them working together. That's the worst case scenario for me, is that they build a train and start bump drafting. As we come on to lap 8, it's still at 1.5 seconds. We're trying to grow that gap as big as we can, as much as possible. They're down to 1.4. We skip in with Blue Racer to see how he's getting on. He's pushing it for all he's worth. He's taking big cuts of that line. He's made a mistake. He's come off the curb. It's bounced him onto the grass. Opened that gap even further. 1.8, 1.9 now. Over 2 seconds. This is absolutely great for us. We're putting the pressure on them, making them take riskier lines than they normally would, and we've opened that gap to 2.3, 2.4 seconds. We take a little look behind us, see how they're getting on. We can see they're very, very close together now. Al-Miraghi in P3 and Blue Racer in P2. And we take a look at that delta 2.4, and it's actually beginning to come down. That's very concerning to me. Yes, Al-Miraghi is bump draft, and again, he's been an excellent team player. He's working with Blue Racer. You can see how closely he's able to follow through Blue Racer here and essentially just actually bump him out of the corners. That's the power of the Lancer on those corners and those curbs. So they've gained an extra 2/10. This is far from over at this stage because they're able to gain that time. Lap 9, jumping on again to the end of lap 9, you can see it's down to 2 seconds flat now. A further 2/10 has been gained. We take a little look now at the tyre wear. You can see the Lancer is just dropping off a little bit. The tyre wear on the left, the Kie is coming up behind him now, working with him. You can see myself and Blue Racer, our tyres are in much better shape. I see this as an opportunity to push again. Sector 1, where really all the time can be gained. We push right through there, 2.1 on the 4th, right round the corner, into the left hand side, snapping into the right, minor lift for comfort, taking all that curve up to 2.3, pushing as hard as we can now to break that slip and put the pressure on them, to put it into their mind, to psychologically break them, to make them think they're fighting for P2. We carry on, we've opened up the gap, lap 14, 15 to 2.5, lap 16, we've got that gap open to over 2.5 seconds, jumping in with Blue Racer. He's fighting for everything now, he's taking every risk, and maybe that's too big of a risk. He's taking a big chunk of those corners, he's pushing out as wide as he can, and he's got himself a 1 second penalty. That's gotta be curtains for him. We are really now in prime position now. All we gotta do is safely bring this home, but we are pushing a really, really strong pace here now. Blue Racer's put up an excellent fight as he serves that penalty. Our delta will begin to grow. 2.9, 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds. We're on to lap 17, pushing on around. We go on to lap 18, 4 seconds. Again, we skip on, end of lap 18, 19, over 4 seconds. And on lap 20, we've got a 5 second gap. And you think this is easy? It's far from easy. It's not. We are not relaxed at this stage. We are absolutely burdened with anxiety. Just look how slow we take this corner to make sure we don't mess it up. Don't even use the curb at all. We've lost half a second in the first sector, and we've got 1 sector left to go. As easy as you can, as slow as you like across those curbs. It looks like we're going to take home the victory, but the big question is how fast did we do it? Are we faster than the Kie25? That's the big question. Now, while we get the victory, I want to just jump back here to Al-Miraghi. Look at his front left. That's an exceptional job. It's a great drive from Al-Miraghi. You know, he's managed that Lancer the whole way throughout. He's worked with every driver to position himself to pick up a 4th place in a non-OP car. He's been the best of the rest. And for me, Al-Miraghi is my driver of the day. Now, as we go back into the lobby, before we check in on my time versus Kie's time, I just want to preface this so as it's framed correctly. This is not about ego or one-upmanship. Anyone watching this video right now, you're someone who consumes content. I do too. And throughout my Gran Turismo journey, if you think about who are the biggest and fastest YouTubers of the large YouTubers, you're going to think of Kie, Digit, Tijni and Super GT. And those are the drivers that I aspire to be in the same realm as. And maybe it's not going to be possible, but at least as a benchmark, it's where I'm trying to get to. Given that Kie was in the same race today, at the same time, in the same car, he just happens to be our measuring stick of where our particular level is in this game. So with that out of the way, let's answer the big question. Are we faster than the Kie25?
Our survey said...
No, unfortunately not. It wasn't to be. Kie has put in a 28:29.5. We ourselves have done a 28:31.5. There's a 2 second difference, but I'll tell you what, I will take that. 2 seconds off the Kie over 20 laps. For us, at our level, is a massive improvement. And we'll take the win. We'll take 320 points. We got pole position. We led from start to finish. I couldn't have prayed for a better race and better result. and our season is officially started. The goals for this season is obviously improve as a driver, have a lot of fun, and if we can, across our 3 best rounds, get 900 points. And we're well on our way to doing that. We just need 2 more good rounds to bring that home. If you've enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate you hitting the like button or subscribing if you're new to follow that journey. And other than that, I will see you in another video or stream very soon. Take care. Bye bye.